Hello everyone, it's the Elbis and Elbis World Class Podcast. I'm joined here with Elbis.
Hi, pal.
And this week, the final episode of the season,
The grand finale.
It's been a long wait, 3 weeks.
Well, it has. It's been ridiculous, really.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I just can't be bothered.
What do you mean?
Well, we just couldn't be bothered, really, could we? With the
Well, I could be. I mean, I was keen to do it. It's
well,
not me that's been living the party lifestyle and
well, you know, I mean,
had a health scare.
The thing is,
last week.
Well, yeah, I did. Yeah, and
infection.
The thing is, when you're a world class podcaster, I mean, as you can imagine, your party invites, you're getting one. I mean, the amount of parties you've got to turn down, it's hard in a way because you're like, oh God. You know, I can't come and that, sorry.
I've not been getting a lot, funnily enough. But
well, you know, I have. And, you know, I've had to accept a few in the past few weeks. This week I declined, and we're here doing the finale of season 1.
I think the difficulty we've got with this opening segment is that normally we have a bit of a chat about the last episode, how it went, all that business.
I forgot.
Quite honestly, I can't remember anything about it. So we hope
it was probably world class, though.
I remember being pretty pleased with it.
Well, yeah. It was all right. It was world class. I mean,
sure it was.
Episode 5. To be honest, it's weird in a way because I feel like we've been doing this podcast for so long, but then so little at the same time. Like we've only been doing this for 2 months, but yeah, it feels like my whole life in a way.
It's been quite a long 2 months.
Yeah, it has. But you know what? The reason why we wanted to do this was not only to document our legacy, but to just brighten up 2020 in a way that no one else could, and I think that's what we've done.
That's true. And I think that if you look back, and I mean, we're gonna do some highlights from the series.
And, yeah.
You know, I think there are a lot of highlights.
Well, I mean, one of the questions I get asked the most is, Elbis, you know, when season 1 ends, you know, is that it? Do you know what I mean? And it could be, but it might be. But you know,
all depends on the listeners, really. I mean, if you carry on,
well, you know,
not subscribing and all that.
Well, I don't want to get into it. You know what
I mean? Still do it.
Get furious, like. But I mean, with this first season, you know, there's compilations to come. Sharkface, we want to put that into one big compilation for you guys.
Merch.
Oh yes, yeah, the merch. So, you know, just keep on your toes for the merch, really, because, I mean, the ideal Christmas present, really.
Well, it's handy.
Yeah, I mean, the merch, it includes, you know, sublime quotes, including, he produces the movement, but doesn't necessarily pedal himself.
That was a good one.
Is this Superman?
Don't give it all away.
Oh, yeah, well, there's 2 tasters, but there's plenty more to come, so don't worry about that. Anyway, anything going on?
Well, what, in the last 3 weeks?
Well, yeah.
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
But I must say that it's difficult to sort of go into things like Dream or Vision, Film of the Week, all that business, because it's been 3 weeks and I've sort of got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if I'll get mixed up.
Well, the thing with my Dream or Vision is it was unforgettable. So that's...
Oh, mine was, actually.
I had to... It's not hard for me because, you know, after having it, I was like, that's a Dream or Vision. Do you know what I mean?
Should we go into Dream or Vision, do you think?
Well,
we've
probably
got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll go into that.
For the final time.
Season. Are we going to bring it back? Yes.
Well, it's the final time of the season, though, is it?
Oh, yeah. Is it going to be next season? We don't know, because we've got lots of other things.
Listen, if there is a season 2, which I sort of hope there is, in a way.
I mean, well, I'm paying £9 a month now for this Podomatic.
Actually, yeah. So there probably will be, actually, yeah. That's confirmed. £9 a month. Season 2 probably will be coming. if Dream or Vision,
we're going to need £9 a month to break even on this now.
Well, this is what I mean. We'll probably introduce the Patreon soon, or the merch will pay for it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time of the season 1, this is Dream or Vision. Don't you wonder sometimes if it's a dream or a vision? Oh, the jingle there, absolutely world class as always.
A fitting jingle.
A fitting send-off to the first season for Dream or Vision with that jingle already. Now, Elbis, obviously, who goes first? I mean, we've done the live note toss before, but I think this week I'm willing to let you go first. I'm willing to just.
Well, second gets the best spot, I suppose.
Well, you can go second if you want.
Well, I don't mind really. I'll tell you the interesting features in mine. I think it's. I think it could be a dream this time with an edge to a vision. However, there is a very interesting feature of it.
I tell you what, I'll go first. You have second. You have the spotlight. Okay.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
I think performer.
Yeah. Well,
they are.
Yeah.
I'm the outstanding performer in Dream or Vision. I'll give you Film of the Week.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, my Dream or Vision. Now, I know for the past, I don't even know. I think it's about 3 episodes, maybe. You've obviously talked about the realm that you've been
the realm.
To. Yeah. Well, I've had a slight suspicion that I've actually been to one twice.
Really? Seriously?
Twice. Yeah.
And
it was crazy.
It
was crazy. No, I didn't. And which is weird. But I'm really unsure if it was a realm or not, so I thought I'm going to save it for Dream or Vision because I wanted to get your insight on it, basically.
Advice, can't you?
So
as an experienced realm step.
Basically, went to sleep and that, and then God, what happened again? Oh yeah, went to sleep and that, and then I was having this dream or vision,
or out of body experience.
Well, yeah, it could be that, yeah. And it was I was with people. There was a few family there, but there were some people I didn't know.
But did you know them? If you know what I mean. Was you comfortable around them?
Yeah, I was comfortable around them, yeah.
Yeah. This is sounding realmish.
I was comfortable around them.
Yeah, that sounds realmish.
And tsunami happens.
Well, that happened in the realm for me as well.
Tsunami. Yeah. Now, I think this is how I got to the realm.
Right.
To be honest.
What on the tsunami?
So the tsunami happened and it just went black.
That's what happened in Man. Are you sure you weren't just listening to episodes?
No, you never mentioned any of this, did you?
Yeah, there was a black tsunami in Man.
No, but the tsunami wasn't black. I mean, there was a tsunami,
okay,
and then it just went black.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then I woke up in paradise, in absolute paradise. It was like an island. It was almost like an island off the coast of Miami or something like that. It was that exotic.
Yeah. Well, that's not paradise.
Well, yeah, not that. Not the island off the coast of Miami we're talking about. But anyway, this island, it was paradise. I mean, there was there was some nice looking people there,
yes,
and there was some, there was waiters and that serving you drinks and stuff.
Yeah,
pool. Nice white sand.
Yeah.
Lovely see-through sea. It was all right in that.
Did you do any touching? And I don't mean in a weird way. I just mean touching things.
I didn't touch any nice-looking people. I just sort of touched some the floor and that.
Did you touch the floor? You're inexperienced. I've been there loads of times, and I always make a point of trying to touch walls and things just to make sure.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember if I touched out or not.
Okay,
if I did touch anything, it wasn't.
You're an apprentice.
It obviously didn't feel that significant for me to mention it or remember it. So I'm going to say no.
Yes,
but I may have done.
Right.
I may have done.
Yeah.
What I do remember is me being on the beach, walking down to the beach. That's what I do remember. And it was it was just a paradise island. That's all I could
Do you remember any sort of conversations or anything you had there, or
not really? No, but what made me question whether it was a realm or not was that there was family who I knew who were still around now, or I see like every week.
They were there. Yeah.
They were there with me, which made me question it a little bit. But then as I say, there was people who I've never seen before, but I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, that's realmish, I would call it.
I didn't think I'd gone to the realm until the next day,
right?
When I went to sleep again.
Yeah.
Dream.
Same place.
Tsunami.
Yeah.
Woke up, paradise again.
Weird,
same place. Place, exact same place, and exact same people.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought this is a realm.
And I think this is why it's important. I know you went mad at me about the allegory of the cave.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you're starting to stick your head out the cave now, and you're starting to observe a little bit rather than just go back in and go, oh God. I think you're starting to observe what's there, and in a way,
I think I've always been an expert observationalist. An expert observational expert. I think I've always been. So in dreams, anyway. That's why I always note them down.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think that if nothing else comes from this first series, I mean, we like to call it an album, don't we?
Yeah, it's an album.
I think that your progression has been quite remarkable in a way. I think that you've done quite well.
I feel like a new person,
gone from
to be honest.
Absolute trash in terms of dream or vision. To something, you are having some quite interesting experiences now, and I think that's good. I think that's really good.
Well, I think as well.
I think that you need to train yourself more, and hopefully in season 2, if we decide to bring back this feature, which I'm not sure yet, all depends on the fans.
Well, yeah.
I think that you need to start doing this thing where when you're there, you need to think, right, I'm here, because that's what I do. I'm here, and then you need to start touching stuff, have a few chats, see if you can find anything interesting out.
Right.
Like serial killer names, things like that.
Yeah.
But no, well done. I'm real pleased about that.
Yeah, and I didn't really remember talking to anyone either.
You don't?
Like I don't remember talking to have a conversation with anyone. Now I don't know if that's because when I look at dreams, I sort of think back and think of me not even saying a word, just walking about. Do you know what I mean? Not even talking to anyone. Whereas,
so in general, you don't speak to people in dreams.
Not really, no. I don't seem to. No, it's rare I do. Or if I do speak to them, it's.
I chat with Elbis, as I said before.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't really seem to chat very much in my dreams. I just sort of like, oh.
Well, that's it's progression, isn't it? You took a step.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely a possible realm because I've never had sort of a sensation before where there's been a tsunami and it's twice and I've woke up.
Weird how I had a
black.
tsunami there. Yeah,
it's gone black.
If you remember, I had like a tsunami of rats.
Yeah, and it's gone black, and I've woke up in a different place. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
a bit weird that.
Nice one. So, that's really good.
Yeah. Really good. Anyway, what did you have in that?
Oh well, man, it had elements of the realm to it, but I don't think it was in the realm. I'm going to side towards dream on it.
Yeah.
But I'll explain it, right? What had happened was, obviously asleep and that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd come back from holiday. That was the start of it. I'd come back from a holiday.
Right.
And it was a holiday of a lifetime. Now, it was...
What, is this in your dream?
Absolute paradise, the holiday. And I'm thinking that I'd come sort of back from the realm because it was such paradise.
So you hadn't actually experienced
No, I had a memory of the holiday straight away. And I was like, I've just been on holiday.
Right.
And I've been to this place. And it was, I would say, like a Caribbean cruise or something like that, but it was better than that. It was better. It was like what you were saying, really. I might have been to where you went. I don't know.
You might have been there when I was there.
I could have been.
You could have been,
Yeah. But honestly, it was like just the best place ever. And I've been with Monkey. And it's like I'm not saying it's a bus or out, but we sort of got off, just arrived back in the town where I live, We'd arrived back. And I was like, bloody hell, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant holiday. And I had loads of cash on me as well. Loads of cash. I was wedged. And everything was going real well. And I had a business, right? And business was going really well. But there was a couple of things I didn't know what the business was.
Well, you're a business mogul.
Well, I am a business mogul, but this particular business, I didn't know what it was. You know, the one that made me all this money in the Dream or Vision. And so I just arrived back and I'm thinking, what is this business that's making me so much money? And also I had a worry about me as well. I was quite worried that I'd left the business for 2 weeks. And you was like, I didn't know I'd left it with. I was worried because I was thinking, oh God, it might be in good to people I've left it with. So I said to Monkey, right, get to the business. Come on, we're off to go check on my business. So, funnily enough, now this has appeared a few times in Dream or Vision. Shopping centre.
Right.
I don't know if I told you this, but I mean, you went to the shopping centre when you was an actor, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was an actor.
Now, do you remember when I was in the realm and I was paintballing? I don't know whether I said it or not.
You didn't mention that.
But that was part of that was in a shopping centre as well.
Right.
But this, again, shopping centre, and I went in, and it turns out my business was like this real cool little shop. And the little shop, it sold like retro computer games and retro computers and all sorts of stuff like from the 80s and that. And it was real good and it was real busy.
Right.
And so me and Monkey walked in and there was 2 people who I considered incompetent running the place.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who they were?
Your dad?
No. I'd trust him to run a computer shop.
Me?
Yeah, correct. Ding. Actually, there is a ding on there.
Oh, yeah.
Boing.
Oh.
I think it's doing it, but we don't know, do we?
I don't know. Don't know.
And
do I press it
no, it's all right. And another person.
My sister.
Correct.
Wait.
Ding. See if we can get that on there. Go on. We don't know.
There you go. There you go.
In any case, you and your sister. Anyhow, turns out...
Snoring? What's that about?
Well, turns out...
so me and my sister can't.
Yeah, well, no. That's what I thought. But the shop was really busy and doing really well. And you two was managing it brilliantly. And I said to Monkey, I said, I'm real proud of him. Do you know what? I said, I'm going to give him every penny that we've made in profit in this last 2 weeks. I'm going to let them keep it because I'm real proud of them. They've done brilliant.
Oh, nice.
And anyway, the shop was real busy. And Monkey, like...
Class act.
Saw... Yeah. Well, I am, aren't I?
Well.
And Monkey saw... Like there was a customer like who wasn't being served, so she went across and said, can I help you and that. And then I saw one, and I went over to him, and it was this little fella, and he looked all right.
Small? What my dad was it?
Smaller than me. Well, I don't know. Do you see if he fits the description?
Go on.
I don't think it was your dad, no. But a little fella, bit scruffy, but he was
Could
all
have been
right.
my dad. Could have been. Are you sure?
No, I don't think it was. No, I sort of have a rough image in my mind of your dad. He had hair.
Yeah.
Unless it was a younger one of your dad.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
In any case, he was all right, but he was scruffy. And I said to him, can I help you? And he goes, and he mumbled something, and I couldn't quite make out what it was. So I said, but he said something about the rent on the shop.
Right.
So I said, what did you say? You're starting a business and you want to open a shop like this. How much is the rent? And he went, oh, no. He said, I'm homeless. He said, and I'm just wondering if it'd be cheaper to rent a shop like this than a flat and I could live in it. And I says, oh, mate, they won't let you do that. And I said what I always say when people ask me about commercial property. I said, it's not the rent that kills you, it's the rates. Don't know why I always say that, but I do. And so he was like,
official merch coming soon. It's not the rent that kills you, it's the rates. Official merch that's coming soon.
And so he was like, oh yeah, all right. And then it kind of went on a bit. I can't remember what went on next, but I was walking with him and I felt real sorry for him because he looked all right. You know what I mean? He's homeless.
He sounds all right, to be fair.
He was, he was
a
nice good fella. But so I was walking along with him, and I'll tell you where I was. I was down where my old primary school used to be, the street. I was walking up the street, and it can be a bit of a rough area. It's not too bad. It can be a bit rough. And I was walking up there with him, and I was like talking to him, saying, "Why are you on the streets? I don't understand it."
What's going on?
And I looked over my shoulders, right? And
did you recognise him at all?
No. He was a stranger, but I had like a fondness for him for some reason. I felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
And I looked over my shoulder, and there was this weird fella following us quite far back. Right? And he was like zombie-like, and he was just staring at us, and he was just walking real slow.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, God, he's a bit weird.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I said to the homeless chap, I said, do you know him? And he says to me, he goes, oh, yeah, yeah, he's all right. He's my mate. He doesn't talk a lot. So I'm like, oh, okay then, yeah. And then anyway, I'd walked too far up the street, and as I say, it was where I used to go to primary school. So there's this little street off it where I used to go down there to go home.
Yeah.
And that was over my shoulder. So I said, right, I'm going to have to get going. Here's some money. Get yourself something to eat. And I darted across the road to go to this other street, which was like a cut through.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I was going, I was looking at this weird zombie bloke again.
Yeah, well, I probably would.
I'm a bit worried about him.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I started walking off.
Yeah.
Now, this has nothing to do with it, but I just thought it was an interesting thing. Looking over my shoulder, 2 teens on BMXs following me. And I thought, I know what they're after. The cash.
So
I hid down an alleyway. No, it could have been mates, yeah. I hid down an alleyway, and they both come. Oh, and then there was like, where is he? Where is he? And I just jumped out and I battered them both. Mercilessly. So that was...
that's pretty good.
Anyway.
In fact, applause for that.
Yeah. Oh, and there were Scousers as well. No,
Yeah. No.
Necessarily.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, kind of, it jumped to another segment of the dream. And as I said, I was real concerned about him. And I'd done a bit of research into his background to find out why he was homeless. And it turned out he owned a bungalow, or for our American listeners, a single-story house.
House that has no upstairs.
Yes, a single-story dwelling.
Yes.
Anyway, and I went to this bungalow, and it was all boarded up. And I had other people with me there. This is why it was a bit realmish, because I didn't know they were, but I was comfortable with them.
And you were like, oh, something's going on here.
I was, yeah. And I thought, I'm going to investigate this and try and help the bloke, you know. And then, so I managed to get into the bungalow. Right. And as I went in, you could tell it hadn't been lived in for ages. It was all dark.
Yeah.
And there was some stairs going down as I went in. So I went down the stairs, and there was a few flights of stairs going down to underground. And I got down to the bottom floor, and there was a hole in the wall. And I went through the hole in the wall, and I looked, and it was horrible. There was all dead bodies, all chopped up behind this thing.
Oh, God.
And there was one of them who was still alive, but it had all like his arms chopped off and all this. And he goes, "It's him!" Like that. And then, this is the weird bit. As that happened, I had a vision in my dream, right? And what the vision was, there was this bloke, the homeless bloke, and he was in a clear tank full of water, and the water was up to his shoulders, right? And then under the water, I could see like a doppelganger of him, so him again, with an axe, completely crazy, like going, rah, rah, and all this. And then holding him down was the zombie bloke who was following him. And it came to me by seeing that. I thought, right, what's going on here is the zombie bloke who was following had some sort of mental psychic powers. And this bloke was a serial killer. And he had like a mental lock on the bloke, and he was stopping him being a serial killer and making him all right and holding back the murderous tendencies in him.
Right.
And so don't you think that's a brilliant film?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know where I am here. I've lost it.
So the bloke who was following him, who I was scared of.
Right, there's this bloke who's like, looks a bit like a zombie, right?
Yeah.
And he's got psychic powers to control the homeless bloke.
Yeah.
Who
is a homicidal maniac, an axe killer, who chops people up. But this bloke's obviously clocked him and thought, right, I'm going to protect other people and keep the murderer inside of him. And that's why he's following him around, staring at.
It's a genius film.
I've actually thought about it, and I thought we could make it an even better film, because what I would do is I would make it so that there was this bloke called Pete.
Yeah, obviously.
Lancaster, maybe.
Pete
something
Lancaster,
like that. Off the top of my head. And he meets this hot chick, right? We pick someone who would give a refreshing performance.
Yes.
Let's say someone like...
Let's say... Margot Robbie.
Yeah, something like that. Definitely. She could do a refreshing performance, and she's like the chick of his dreams and all this, and he loves her, and he's like, oh, I can't believe I'm so lucky. But she's got a stalker who's always following her.
Oh, good.
And so Pete is like, right, I'm going to sort him out. And eventually he does, and he kills the stalker. But of course, as soon as he does that, Margot Robbie's got a homicidal axe maniac inside of her. She kills Pete. That's the end. Dun, dun, dun.
No, but like Highway to Hell, probably, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be a good way to finish it.
Yeah.
Would be a good way to finish it.
Yeah, it would, yeah. No.
So that's why, if we do the verdict on that, was it a dream or a vision? Yeah, want an out-of-body experience. It's probably a dream, but then it was a bit like the octopus one. It could be a vision if we turn it into a film. Bloody good film.
Be a great film, that.
Really good
what would
film.
you call it though? Like,
well, yeah, the master of names.
I am the master of names. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'd probably call it
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I would. Chick-fil-A. I would probably call it Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I can't think of anything that'd beat that.
By Elbis and Elbis.
Elbis and Elbis.
Give us a clap. Give us a clap.
Yeah, clap for the
Go on, let's have a clap on these.
I love these
£9
sound.
a month.
Yeah, no.
It's weird how you
can even get a crowd cheer as well.
Nah, we won't do that.
Anyway, is that Dream or Vision done?
I reckon.
Yeah, it'd be alright, won't it?
I haven't really got much else to tell you.
Got the jingle and that?
Oh, no.
Oh, should we probably say, do you think it was a dream then or a vision?
Oh, well, I just went through that. I said, I don't think it was... It certainly wasn't an out-of-body experience, which yours maybe was.
Yeah.
Right? We're on the fence with that. Yours was either a vision or an out-of-body.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't an out-of-body. It was possibly a really good dream.
Yeah.
But if we turn it into a film, then it was a vision. Same as the octopus one.
And I might have gone to a realm or something.
We think you probably did.
Yeah.
You just need to do more when you're there.
Well,
try some powers. Try some powers.
Right. Next time.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Don't you wonder sometimes if it's a dream or a vision?
Well, everyone, that was Dream or Vision. Now it's time for the finale of Sharkface.
I'm nervous.
I'm so nervous. It's without a doubt the biggest one yet. And you know, I think with Sharkface, it's gone from strength to strength every week. And I mean, a little insight to the Elbis and Elbis World Class podcast is, you know, when we do these, it's usually we sit down, press play, and let the magic happen.
Yeah.
Sharkface, we do like to have a little run through before, just to make sure, you know, because we are complete professionals, we want to make sure we deliver this to you in the best way we can. And we've just done a little run through there, and
it's tough.
You could actually almost feel the emotion. In fact, you could feel the emotion in the room.
It's like,
in
I
some
suppose,
parts of
I mean,
it's,
you know, we're both men, so we'll never know. But I would say it's probably like giving birth.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that because
it's like giving a child to the world when you've spent, you know, not a lot of time.
It's like, in a way, it's like giving birth and then like keeping your kid in like the attic for like 3 years,
and then revealing him just inch by inch or something, or very slowly,
like slowly bringing him out the attic,
and
then like the full world's there to watch.
And now we're finally going to show his face, and you're like, oh, is he ugly or
not? Is he ugly or is he a good looking lad? And to be honest, I think he's using the analogy we've just used, I think it's a great looking lad.
And everybody bear in mind, I mean, we are script writers, we're film writers, we're not really radio people, and so we've had to adapt this. It's not our strength. We're doing our best, you know.
Yeah, just bear with us. Like,
I think this will speak for itself. I know you're all hooked. You're probably trying to guess where this is going to go, what's going to happen to Pete.
Well, I think there might be a problem with the comments because I asked people to leave comments and that.
Yeah,
but I think that YouTube have quite a bit of a problem with comments on Podomatic, so don't worry about that.
If two people try and put a comment at the same time, then sometimes now.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, like with the following, you know, flooding the comments, it's just sent it into overdrive really. So, you know, the comments aren't working, but
as a reminder, it's bidding starts at $1 million each.
Yeah,
it does. From there, if you want to make this film.
Yeah. I mean, the emotion in the room there was. It can only be compared to. To be honest, I couldn't compare it to anything because the emotion that I felt there, it was almost sort of like I'd just finished It was almost like what Leonardo da Vinci would have felt when he painted the Mona Lisa.
Probably, yeah. And I mean, that's not even that good. I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's a lot smaller than you think.
Well, it's just a woman in that. Really,
let's not drift too far off the subject.
I mean, I'm ready to.
I think it's your nerves getting to you.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it. Let's get this done. I know the fans are waiting for it, begging for it. And after 3 weeks, the finale's here. Should we get going?
Hope you enjoy it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time, this is Sharkface.
Alex is first to make it back to the beach. As she pushes aside the final greenery, she is stopped in her tracks by a scene of sheer carnage. She screams, covering her eyes to the horror before her. The once playful partygoers now reduced to a bloody, bludgeoned collection of dismembered body parts.
Who's doing this to us?
Alex cries.
It's him. It's Sharkface. I told you all he was real,
proclaims Pete.
We gotta get out of here. Now.
They rush down to the ocean, using the newly collected wood for flotation. The exhausted foursome frantically kick, aiming for the blip on the horizon, desperately hoping they can make it to the boat. Amber lags behind, her injured appendage slowing her progress. She slips and sinks below the water. Pete turns and gracefully submerges below the waves, grabbing her hand and pulling her back to the surface.
You go out,
he proclaims to Ashley and Alex.
I got her.
As Alex pulls herself aboard the stranded ship, she breathes a huge sigh of relief before offering her hand to Ashley. They both stand and beckon Pete as he continues to assist Amber. Once aboard, the group move to the front of the vessel, praying they will be able to start her up. They seem undeterred by the sight of Riley's mangled torso. Clearly, the death and depravity of the past 24 hours have hardened them to such horrors. Ashley mans the controls, and for the first time, the group begin to relax. Ashley suggests that Amber goes below deck to make sure her wound is clean. Pete agrees and offers to help her down the stairs. Pete helps Amber hobble into the well-furnished bathroom. He suggests she take a shower and make sure she is okay before closing the door behind her. Amber undresses and feels the hot water hit her face, washing away the stench of death. Finally, she feels safe as she lathers her hair with shampoo. Pete stands on the deck with his arm around Ashley.
You know, it's strange that it's taken a weekend so full of death to finally make me feel alive again,
he says. Ashley smiles and kisses him passionately.
Ugh! Get a room, guys,
laughs Alex.
I'll go check on Amber, and I'll leave you to it.
Pete and Ashley embrace and look out into the distance with land finally in sight. They are interrupted by a high-pitched scream.
Ah! It's Alex,
says Pete.
You stay here and get us home.
Pete runs to help Alex, whilst Ashley cranks up to top speed. Pete comes rushing back up the stairs.
They're dead. He's here.
The engine of the boat begins to stutter and grind to a halt, cutting out. Ashley turns to Pete, her eyes flooded with tears.
No! No! No!
Pete shakes her.
Stay calm. You've got to keep calm. We need to get down to the engine room. We can fix this,
Pete assures her. He takes her by the hand as they rush down the stairs.
In here,
he says. They enter the unbearably hot room and locate the engine. Ashley inspects the rows of pistons, looking for any obvious obstructions.
See if you can find any tools, Pete. There's got to be in here somewhere. Y'all think.
Pete agrees and moves over to the back of the room. Peering down into the complicated machinery, Ashley thinks she spots the problem.
Pete, I see it. You got a wrench? Pete? Pete, honey.
She stands up and peers over to the back of the room to observe Pete standing motionless, facing away from her.
What are you looking at, Pete? What is it?
Pete remains motionless.
Pete?
She approaches him slowly.
Honey, what is it?
She places a hand on his shoulder.
Pete?
In a flash, Pete turns, revealing double rows of razor-sharp teeth. Ashley screams and falls backwards. Pete's face now twisted and distorted, a snarling beast like something from the pits of hell. Ashley backs away, still in shock but acting in pure instinct. Her hand brushes against a wrench, just as the beast lunges. She strikes it directly in the mouth, forcibly extracting several teeth. She runs past it and opens the door. She looks back and sees the lost teeth instantly growing back as the beast looks on with a terrifying grin of death. She heads up the stairs, but quicker than a flash she feels it grab her ankle. She barely feels any pain as the serrated teeth sink into her calf muscle. Still holding the wrench, she beats down with 2 heavy blows to the monster's head, forcing the jaw to release. Dragging herself up to the top of the stairs, the pain begins to set in. She backs herself into a corner and grabs a harpoon gun, desperately trying to load it in time. She looks upwards to find the unharmed shark-man hybrid staring down at her. Crying, she begs for her life.
Please, no. Pete, I know you're still in there.
Her pleas go unnoticed as Sharkface steadies himself for the final deathly pounce. He grabs the harpoon gun and giggles, shaking his head.
Please, no. Pete, I loved you.
She closes her eyes and prepares to meet her maker. Suddenly, the giggling stops. She opens one eye to see a tear running down the face of the merciless evil freak.
Pete, I love you. I love you.
The once soulless black eyes begin to clear. She could see a glint of Pete's blue eyes returning. The seconds which followed seemed to take an eternity. She could see the conflict within him. For a moment, she thinks Pete will win. Pete will overcome Sharkface for her. She slowly takes to her feet and approaches him, reaching out her hand. Sharkface extends his mutated flipper and caresses her hand. She looks down for a moment and then returns to his eyes. She moves closer and kisses his cold, scaly cheek. Sharkface then picks up the harpoon gun and hands it to her.
Kill
me, he says.
I can't. Pete, I love you. I can't.
Ashley cries.
Kill me,
he says again, placing the loaded weapon against his forehead and putting her hand on the trigger. Ashley shakes her head, staring into his eyes. Then, like a storm building on the horizon, she sees his eyes beginning to cloud over, the blackness of death returning with that hellish snarl. Bang! The harpoon pierces his brain and he falls to the floor motionless. Ashley kneels over the body of her beloved.
No!
2 days later, Ashley lays in a hospital bed, heavily bandaged but recovering from her ordeal. A reporter takes down the last few lines from her interview. Ashley asks to be left alone. Her only picture of Pete sits next to her on the bed. The boat ride out to the island seemed like such a long time ago. She kisses the picture before turning in for the evening. Exhausted, she closes her eyes, and the reporter switches off the light so she can finally get some rest.
The camera starts on her face as she sleeps and moves upward slowly. As soft music plays, suddenly her eyes open and they're totally black. Well, everyone, that was Sharkface. And, well,
we're not happy.
Not happy at the moment.
Not with Sharkface. I mean, Sharkface.
Oh, no, Sharkface was genius. I mean, I can only imagine the audience right now after listening to Sharkface. I'm guessing I can only imagine your breath being taken away from your body as you listen to that last bit.
Yeah.
But now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, we've had some technical problems, let's just say.
Now, Elbis, I mean, it was in the middle of a mystical story.
Well, it was Film All Week next.
Well, actually, it was mystical in the way that, like, you know, it was like all right and that. But it wasn't a film. It wasn't a film. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't a film. And I
don't even know what's happening. Don't forget, they didn't know what just happened.
Yeah.
We were recording something, Podomatic, completely screwed up. We've lost about a good 10 minutes of footage. It's going to be lost in the annals of time. And so, well, sorry about that, but you've had it. Yeah, and I can't. And it was a great story I was telling, and I can't be bothered to tell it now. So, anyway, what is it? Film of the week.
Yeah. You got out.
Well, I did.
Except for the mystical story that now is.
Well, I did have, but it's been 3 weeks.
Lost in the.
And the film that I wanted to do, I forgot most of it, but I have got a series. I've got a series.
Got a series of it?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
It was good. What it was, my old man, my dad, for those who don't know what that means.
For the American viewers.
Yeah. He recommended it to me a few months ago, probably. And so I put it at the bottom of my list because as much as I like my dad, he's no film critic like I am. It's usually terrible. My sister then recommended it to me, and so I moved it even further down the list if that's possible. I got another page and moved it onto that page.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the other night I was feeling depressed and sort of, you know, with telly, like I feel now, really.
Well, I mean, there's no respect for actors, is there now?
No, and I thought I wanted to punish myself in a way, so I thought I'm going to watch this piece of crap that my dad and my sister have been watching. And I watched it and it was bloody brilliant. So that was a shock. And
I thought you was going to say absolutely terrible, to be honest.
No, it was bloody brilliant. It really was. And if we look at the films, the type of film or programme that I don't like, as you know, no war films, I don't watch them, no James Bond, no superheroes, no reboots, I don't like much, do I? But this, and I didn't think I'd like it, because it's was it
superhero then? Was it?
No. It was like a carry-on from an 80s film, which I thought would be pathetic. Anyway, turns out, Cobra Kai.
I've heard of that. Yeah, it's on
brilliant.
Netflix.
Absolutely brilliant. And I'll tell you why it was brilliant. Because, first of all, have you seen Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good start then. And you know,
it's like where he's like doing karate and that. Isn't it?
Yeah, he's like Daniel.
And there's that old Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. And you know Daniel LaRusso, he's like a nerd. And he keeps getting picked on by the bullies.
Wax on, wax off, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And he keeps getting picked on by the bullies. And the head bully's called Johnny. And he keeps battering him.
He sounds like a bully as well.
Johnny. Yeah. Johnny Lawrence is called.
Oh, God.
And cool, though. I'd have been in club. You remember, like, I used to do karate, didn't I?
Well, so you see.
Yeah, I was a blue belt. Good God. Well, anyway, it was like the type of karate. Dojo, that's it. Instead of class.
Dojo.
That's like what I used to go to. No mercy. And, you know, only hard men would survive. Well. But, so anyway, in the film, like, Johnny Lawrence is picking on the Karate Kid, Daniel LaRusso. Daniel LaRusso's a right nerd, gets taught karate by Mr. Miyagi, and then, like, batters him in the final. Now, what this is about, and this is a genius of it, is although Daniel LaRusso is in it, it's really a story about Johnny the bully.
Is this after Karate Kid then?
Yeah, it's like modern times, so it's 35 years later. Or whatever it is. Yeah,
so he's sort of like learned from bullying and that then?
Well, you'll have to watch it. It's really good. But he starts up the dojo again. And what I love about it is it's like, in those days, it was kind of frowned upon. It's like karate, you know, like Miyagi taught that karate is for self-defense only and all this, you know. Whereas the Cobra Kai was a school which Johnny Lawrence went to, and they're like, no mercy, strike first, all this. You've got to be tough and hard to make it. Yeah. Whereas in today's world, like all these kids nowadays, these millennials or whatever you call them, they're all wimps.
I don't really know anyone who I've not really heard of any like young lads who have done karate.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, I know when I was at school, I mean, there was no one really who did karate or anything.
Well, no, because they're not tough enough. That's the problem.
Well,
and they're all wimps nowadays, and they're all like, "Oh, you've offended my feelings" and all this. Yeah. And what's genius about this is that
we don't want to get too much into that. It's quite controversial.
No, but not controversial. But Cobra Kai comes back, And it actually does kids.
Cobra Kai.
No, not at all. No, it's
good because I don't like.
It's just classic. It's just brilliant, and it like does the kids really good. But it's not quite as straightforward as that. But it's something. It's like he's come straight from the 80s into the modern day, and like.
What is he, a time traveller?
No. But his attitude is, it's like he's never grown up and he's still.
So he's still like the 80s in that, like he's like sort of. Is he like one of them?
He still listens to it.
You'd like find him in a pub and that, and he'd be like, the 80s was miles better.
He's not made much of a success in his life, to be honest. Whereas Daniel LaRusso has. But
he sounds a bit lame.
No, it's actually really funny as well, and it's funny that they've still got this grudge from 1985, a karate tournament, and do you know what though? There are parts of it which are lame, but they're unapologetic about it, and it's like lame, but it's cool at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It's like what's going to happen. You're like, this is going to happen here. It's lame, but it just works brilliant. And it's like if I was to use the system on this, then I'll tell you, there's two seasons of it. And it was made by YouTube, I believe. It's like a YouTube original.
All right.
Now, they funded it and financed it. And they made 2 seasons of it. And it was made to be a 2-season sort of piece, if you like. And so it's all about Johnny Lawrence, what became of Johnny Lawrence, the bully, in his later life, and what happened to him. And it goes through. And if I was to rate sort of the 2 seasons, using the system, my system.
Your system.
Going to use my system. I would put it through, and it's like the beginning of it. It's just honestly, it's so good. Yeah, Google it, but don't press enter, will you?
Right.
Don't want to know the score because we're going to see about accuracy. Yeah. Now remember the floating point I've got, don't you?
Oh yeah,
33, 33, and then.
I don't even know. It was something like that, wasn't it?
I'm not going to do any clever maths from my floating point like what I did before. What confused you?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go straight up the beginning. Which is like, I would say, part of... So there's like 20 episodes. So I would say like the first, 7 episodes or so, 6, 7 episodes, 34. 34. I enjoyed it that much. I was absolutely hooked.
Bloody hell.
I laughed. I just thought it was brilliant. And it was a shock. It was a shock to me.
Wait, that was a shock, that 34?
Well, it's a shock to everybody, I think. But 34, it was that good. And then the next 6 or 7 episodes. So what we do there is we cross over from season 1 into season 2. And I thought it sort of, as I said, it was lame, but just to the right point. I thought they turned lame up just a little bit too much then. And it made it quite a lot about his teenage students. And so I got a little bit more bored with that. So I would give it...
You've got no respect for teenagers though, have you?
I haven't. No, you're right. You are right. Why? Yeah, I haven't. No, well, I slagged them off earlier in the
Well, you did, yeah.
No respect for that.
You did, yeah.
Wimps, aren't they?
Wow.
But, mind you, he did sort a lot of these out, I must say. I'd give it 29, so still really high. It was still
That's still pretty high, yeah.
Right, so what's that? 34.
34,
29. Gives you
64, 3, yeah.
63. And then the ending, now... Netflix have bought it because it's that good, and they're making a season 3. Now, whether that's going to be good or bad, I don't know. But what I would say is I'm judging it purely on a 2-piece thing, which YouTube intended. I thought the ending was excellent. I thought it was brilliant. Because, well, I won't give it away. Just watch it. I thought it was really good. And I'm going to give that, what am I on so far? 63.
Yeah, so out of a
I'll give the ending. I'll give the ending.
What possible
33? I thought it was brilliant.
33, full whack.
I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, I did.
So that's...
and it's such a surprise for me.
96.
90. Well, yeah, 96. The system don't lie.
The system.
I'm so surprised by it. I really am. So surprised by it.
94.
There you go. That's the system.
That's the system.
And I bet the people who the 2%. They're probably people who haven't even seen the Karate Kid and don't know what it was about.
Yeah, probably.
So I bet there's 6% of the world who haven't seen the Karate Kid.
Well, I mean, look at these ratings here. They're all far.
Yeah. Really good.
I mean, yeah, it looks all right.
It looks brilliant. Well, I mean, sorry, it is brilliant. I watched it.
But, yeah, I mean...
Give it a watch. Give it a watch.
96, that's the system.
And that's my final review of the first series. I mean, I did I did like my original review until you got your infection, or whatever it was.
Just a bit.
I did have another review, which was a film, but I forgot about it now. And to be honest, I'm just glad I did that because it would have been the film I was going to do would have been about 13%. I couldn't. It was that bad. I forgot about it now, so I'm happy to finish on a positive because I've done now but slag films and actors off.
Well, I mean, that was a highly praised film.
It was.
Well, series from Elbis. Yeah. I've never known you praise a series like it, really. But for me, I watched a film, well, it's 3 weeks ago now, The Rental, it's called.
Don't think I've seen that.
And basically, it's like, starts off on that, and there's like this...
Rental?
Yeah.
New like, film or old film?
Yeah, it's new. 2020. Anyway...
Netflix?
No. Just like...
Laid your hands on a
normal film. The film presented itself to me, so I took it with my full grasp.
With aplomb.
Yeah. And, anyway, like, starts off on that, and there's this, like, bloke with this, like, woman and that, and he's, like, looking at this lodge.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, God, that looks good. So they're like, oh, yeah. Like, maybe me, you, and your bloke, and my missus should go.
Any names? Any names? Any actors?
Well, they've got names, but I don't really know any of them. I don't really know any of the actors. That's the problem.
So we got so far then,
there's like this bloke.
Give them names, because we're never going to follow it.
All right.
So, like, do you know the actor's name?
No.
Right. So, we've got You said there's a woman looking at the computer. What's her name?
Shelley.
Okay.
Shelley's looking at the computer.
Yeah.
And she's looking at it with Steve.
Right.
And anyway, Steve's like, oh, God, yeah, that looks real good. And
that husband?
Like, oh, yeah. No, well, you think it might be.
Oh, yeah.
Like pretty friendly and that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this bloke walks in.
Gavin?
Yeah, all right. Gavin comes in. He's like, oh, hey up, Gav. What's going on here? And like, Gav's like,
who said God. That, Steve?
Yeah, Steve said that.
Got ya.
And then Gav's like, oh, God, oh, yeah. Now then. And they're like, oh, yeah. All right. Anyway,
the dialogue sounds fantastic.
Well, it took me by surprise. Yeah. Anyway, what's she called? What's Nelly? Shelley. She comes up and she's like, "Oh yeah, all right." Gives him a kiss and that. So they think, "Hey, up, they're together."
Oh, Aaron,
Gavin,
yeah.
Aaron Gav are having it away and that.
Anyway, husband and wife.
Yeah, husband and wife. Yeah. Like my partners. Anyway, Shelley, she's like, oh yeah, what's going on? Gav's like, oh yeah, now just gonna go toilet. He's like, pops off the toilet and that. Oh no, Shelley goes, I think, to toilet. And
you really do go into detail.
It's like, yeah, that's it.
This is detail.
Shelley goes into toilet and Gavin.
Do you know what she went to do?
I mean, Shelley goes for number 2.
Yeah.
And Gavin, like, Steve, like, sat there and, like, oh, you know, what do you think of this lodge? Then, like, oh, yeah, it's real good. Anyway, it turns out they're brothers.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So these two brothers are like, oh, yeah, it's real good and that. So should we go for the weekend? They're like, yeah. All right, you bring Shelley, your missus. This is Steve talking. And I'll bring my missus. So anyway, they go.
What's her name?
Like, Rita.
Oh, Rita. Right.
Yeah, Rita. So, like, oh, yeah, they get to the lodge and that. Anyway, they're like, oh, must say, like, oh.
Hang on, just to clarify, Gavin is with Shelley, Steve is with Rita.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, they like, get to the lodge and like, oh, yeah, by the way, we've hired it off this man, he's a bit weird. He's got a bit of a reputation for being a racist and, like, being, like, a weirdo.
What's his name? Norman.
Yeah, Norman. He's like Norman the racist. He's a handful, you know. And anyway, gets to no, he's an handful.
Oh, I thought you said he's harmful.
Well, it could be in a way.
Oh, okay.
And
maybe have to give some away.
Well, you never know. Yeah, you might spoil a plot twist there, or line, or point, even I should say. Anyway, yeah, Norman's like he's a bit weird and that, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's just be careful. And anyway, they get to the lodge. They take a dog with them.
Oh, yeah.
They're not supposed to. Norman said don't take dogs, but they don't care.
He specifically said to him.
Yeah, he said no dogs, and
Right.
he was like, "Oh, we'll take the dog anyway."
Yeah.
So
What's
and
the
it's
dog
and
called?
that's I don't know,
Rex.
something like that. Stephen, it's actually it's Gav and Shelley.
Yeah.
Oh, take the dog, and they're like, "Oh yeah, loving it and that." And anyway, it gets to the night, they're having a good time. It was like, "Oh, what should we do?" Like, "Oh, look at this." Brings out a bit of the old Mary Jane. Bit of drugs.
I'm not real up on this young drug.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know if that's a saying.
Mary Jane.
Anyway, they get on it and that. Except from... what's the woman called?
What does Mary Jane mean? Weed?
Except from Rita.
Weed?
Yeah, it might be. I don't think it was weed, actually. I think it was...
coke.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, Rita's not having it. She's like, I'm sick of this. I ain't having any of that. I'm not up for it tonight.
Rita is
Steve's wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sick of this. I'm off to bed. Anyway, she goes to bed.
Right.
Anyway, Steve, Gav, and Shelley, they're up having a good time and that, having a dance.
Then Gav gets a bit tired, doesn't he?
Gav gets a bit tired. He falls asleep. So it's Steve and Shelley. And they're like, oh, yeah, they're loving it and that. They go out, get in the hot tub. She's in like a bikini and that.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty decent.
Sounds
and
good fun,
I mean, like, pretty decent.
Sorry, is this
bikini.
Shelley? Shelley's in the bikini.
Yeah, Shelley's in the bikini. It's a pretty decent bikini. I think it's a very nicely... Well made, probably well made, very nice looking bikini she wears. Yeah. And anyway,
appreciated the fabric.
Yeah, I did in a way. And anyway, they're in this hot tub and that, having a chat. And he's like, "Oh God,
just Steve."
No,
this is a
just Steve. Yeah, well, he's like,
especially if they've been on the odd Mary Jane.
Well, yeah. Can I just say, oh God, you're like real good at work and that, and it's a pleasure to work with you. I'm real happy we work in the same place each other.
He works with her.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, she's in the office at the start, as I said.
You never said the office. You
said she was in an office then.
Yeah. Well, what was Gavin doing in the office?
Well, he just coming to visit, and anyway,
she worked there.
No, she's like, oh God, yeah, thanks and that. He's like, no, I mean it. You're real good in that. And Shelley's like, oh, you too. Anyway, they start
good at work.
Yeah,
not sharp line.
They start, having a smooch in that.
Oh yeah,
and loving it. Anyway, dog starts barking. Like, they're stopping. Like, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But like, what's he barking at? Anyway, Steve gets out. He's like, hang on, I'll have a look. And looks into this, like, like one of them things that you see, like, you get at, like, the seaside. Like, it's like a telescope type thing that you look into, but it doesn't see as far as, like, astronomically. It just sees into the distance. Do you know what I mean?
Would it be a periscope? Oh, no, periscope goes up, doesn't it? I know what you mean, anyway.
Do you know what I mean? Like one of them things that you put... Well, you're not really doing it. Well, actually, I think you do.
Like binoculars, but
you put a coin in. You put a
Binocular.
Then you put a coin in and then like look in it.
I think it's a telescope.
Something like that. Yeah, just call it a telescope. Anyway, she's like, he's like looking into it, and he's like, Steve's looking into it. He's like joking. He goes, it's Norman. He's watching us.
Yeah.
And she's like, give over. And he's like, yeah. Anyway, gets back in the hot tub. There, starts smooching again. Actually, I don't think they do. Shelley goes like, oh...
Do you see any...
No, not really. Shelley's like, oh, I'm going to go get in the shower. He's like, oh...
Good, I mean. Good.
All right, then. And Shelley goes off and gets in the shower and that. Anyway, bloody Steve...
Wash the filth off her.
Yeah, Steve comes in.
Oh, yeah.
They start having it away in the shower.
What, while Gail and
Gav... No, while Rita and Gav...
Oh, Rita.
While Rita and Gav are just in bed.
She should be called Gail. That's the name.
All right, yeah, Gail then. Yeah, so Gail and what's it called? Gav, that's it. Gail and Gav are like, oh, yeah, that's easier. Gail and Gav are like, oh, in bed.
Gail and Gav, Steve and Shelley.
Gail and Gav are in bed and that.
Opposites, like cross and across, and they're married to each other.
And Steve and Shelley are like having it away in the shower and that. Anyway, next day comes. Gav gets out of bed, Gail gets out of bed, they're like, oh, we fancy a walk and that, come in a walk. And they're like, oh, Shelley, and that's to Shelley and Steve. Shelley and Steve are like, oh, I can't, I'm just too rough from last night, it's just, I'm not having it.
I bet someone's
They're like, oh, all right then, whatever. So Gav and Gail go off, and they're like having a walk and that. leave Shelley and Steve alone. Shelley and Steve are like, oh,
let's do it again.
No, they're like, oh, what should we do about last night? Like, oh, never mention it again. He's like, all right then. Anyway, Shelley goes and gets another shower, but he doesn't join her this time.
Yeah, no wonder.
But while she's in the shower, she notices that there's like a camera in the shower. There's like a red dot, like a lens, watching her. And she's like, what's going on here? It's bloody Norman, this. Norman's watching me. And then she runs and thinks,
weird how I picked the name Norman.
Well, yeah.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, that's true.
When he used to do that. Look through the walls. I've seen that film, Psycho.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
I've heard it's quite good.
Brilliant film.
Anyway, she's like, oh, hang on. If there's a camera in this shower, what about the shower we had it away in? So she runs to that shower.
Oh, what? They've got 2 showers?
2 showers in the lodge.
Well.
Decent lodge. It's a decent lodge. Yeah, anyway, she goes into this other shower where they had it away. There's a camera in it. She's like, oh, God. They've got me and Steve having it away.
Cameras
on camera. So they're like, oh, I'm sick of this. Anyway, it turns out there's a problem with the hot tub as well. Gail and Gav get back. Like, let's bring Norman.
Bikini bottoms and chewed up like them.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Did they actually have it away as well?
Like, yeah, proper.
Did they?
Proper. Yeah. Anyway, Gav he's like, oh God,
I might have to watch it.
Norman, can you just come sort this hot tub out? He's like, yeah, no problem. Comes round, sorts the hot tub out. Anyway, just as he's leaving, Shelley's like, can I show you this, Norman? He's like, yeah, whatever. What is it? Texting him into the bathroom. He's like, there's a camera in this shower. You're a perv, you're all this, like, I'm sick of you. I'm not having this anymore. Sort it out. And he's like, oh, I didn't even know about it. It's not even my lodge, it's my brother's. I'm into lodge films at the moment. I know I did the lodge.
Obviously, yeah, you are, right?
I'm quite into lodge films.
You was into islands, weren't you, at the start?
Yeah, I progressed from there to lodges. Yeah.
Hey, hang on a minute, and what's weird? Look at the realm where I go.
I'm on an island.
Yeah, you're on an island, and
you're on a lodge.
I have lodges. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Weird in that, isn't
it?
Yeah. Anyway, so like, what was I on about? Oh, yeah. Norman was like, oh, God, yeah, I'll sort out. Anyway, Norman's like, oh, it's not even my lodge, it's my brother's. And she's like, you need to sort out. Anyway, Norman, like, Shelley, does something. Norman, grabs it.
Norman said it's his brother's.
Yeah. Gav sees it, and he's like, what's going on here?
Gav
runs in.
Husband. Yeah.
Starts battering Norman. Norman, is, in the shower, he's, nearly dying, nearly. And, he's, because he's been battered. But he's not dead, but he's just been battered. And they're like, oh, what's going on? Anyway, they come out and the bathroom, and they're like, we need to sort out what's going on here. We need to sort this out. We need to call an ambulance. They're like, no, we can't. I'm sick of this. I didn't mean to. He was grabbing Shelley. He was grabbing what's she called? Shelley. Yeah, he was grabbing. Gav's like, he was grabbing Shelley and that, and he's like, oh well, all right then, whatever. Anyway, they go back. He's dead. No pulse.
Norman is?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But you see that there's been I can't remember if it's at this point in the film where you see a man come in, but he's wearing all black and he's got black gloves on, and he strangles Norman who's because he's still alive in the bath.
Norman's brother. He said his brother.
Yeah, and he comes in and he strangles him, so Norman's dead. But they go back in and find him. He's dead, so they think it's...
they won't know though, will they?
They think it's Steve who's killed him.
Right.
No, they think it's Gav who's killed him. Gav's like, I'm going to go to prison. I'm going to go to prison. This is it. Steve's like, I need to do something here. But he's my brother. I can't let him go to prison. Shelley's like, Shelley's like, it's me, it's my partner. I can't let him go to prison. And what's she called?
Bit tight, innit?
What's she called? God,
brother's wife.
Gavin. What's she called? Gail. Gail's like, oh, I'm not having any part of it. It's against the law. He's done it. He should own up to it. I'm not having any part of it. This is breaking the law. I'm off. So she goes and sits in the bedroom and that. They go, take the body out, dump him off the cliff, come back, and anyway, Gail gets this text, right, out of nowhere from this it says anonymous.
They're not sisters, are they?
No, anonymous message, and she's like, what's this video? Bloody, what do you call him having it away in the shower?
Oh, great.
She's like, this, I'm sick of
this. So it's his brother.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't coming back, I'm sick of this.
What shall we call his brother?
Charlie? Yeah, something like that. So, like, she sees this message. I'm sick of this. So she grabs the car, drives off, and
Gail does.
Yeah, they're like, and but Steve knows. Steve, just as she's about to drive off, Steve runs up to the car and goes oh no, Gav. Oh no, yeah. Steve goes up to the car and he's like, oh, why are you going? Why are you leaving? And she's like, I know it's upset. He's like, it's not that. And he's like. She's like, yes, I know that. It's like, I know what you've done. I know, I've got it here on video. I know what you've done. I know that you cheated and stuff. And he's like, oh God, I'm so sorry. It's just an accident. It was just one of them things that, I didn't mean. And she drives off anyway. He's like, oh God. And then Gav starts asking why she driving off like that.
Yeah,
what's going on?
I bet.
And Steve's like, no.
Didn't you tell Gav that?
No. Gav that would have been the first. Steve's like, oh, she's just a bit spooked out about
as well as in.
She's just a bit spooked out about us putting that body off the cliff. She'll come back. She'll be fine. Anyway, she's driving, pitch black, runs over some spikes.
Oh God!
She's like, what's going on there? All the tyres are popped. Gets out. She's like, text Steve. She's like, oh Steve, the car's, all the tyres have been popped. I'm stuck here in the pitch black. Please come help me. With that, there's a person.
Do you see how when they're at it in the shower then?
You see a bit of flash. Yeah. Anyway, they're anyway, that was ages ago.
No,
they're in there. Anyway, she's like, oh God, I better go get Gail. Anyway, Steve gets her. No, Steve goes to her. Anyway, Gail looks out the window of the car. There's a person there. Gets her, kills her.
Charlie.
It's Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie. He gets her, kills her.
Say Charlie.
She's dead.
It's a person.
She's dead. But then you're thinking, hang on, Steve's running there. Steve gets there. Charlie kills him, dead. So now there's only Gail. No, there's only Shelley and Gav. So anyway, Shelley and Gav, they're like, oh. Shelley's like, look, Gav, the reason why I was talking to Norman in the bathroom and he grabbed me is because I told him that there's a camera in the shower and I had a shower earlier and he was filming me.
So not the full.
So Shelley was like, but because there's a camera in the shower, I think there's camera all over the lodge. If there's cameras all over the lodge, they'll have seen us drag the body out. They'll have known it's us. They'll have the proof. So there was right, we need to find this surveillance room or something, wherever the cameras are. We need to get rid of it. Anyway, so they're looking all over the lodge and that goes under the lodge. There's a little basement
bit. Camera, just follow the wire.
Yeah, there's
remove the tiles, follow the wire.
Bit of a it's Bluetooth thing. Anyway, they go
Bluetooth,
something like that. Anyway, they go into the basement thing. Go into the basement thing. They're like, oh no, it's not in here, and that. Anyway, it goes back in the lodge, goes up the stairs. Text message. Gav looks at his phone. He's like,
where did he get all the numbers?
He said,
I bet they give the numbers when they made the initial booking.
Probably,
you won't give all four. You won't give all four.
Well, Gav's
only have one.
Only Gav's got it. So Gav,
he's texted
and no, he's only texted.
No, he texted Gail.
Yeah, that was Gav and Gail.
Oh, the same phone.
Yeah.
Oh, she must have given it when she booked.
Gail,
that'd be just like them as well. Let her do the booking and organise it all.
Yeah,
and
probably.
Have it away with
so Gav's like, oh God, I'm getting this text from you here, Shelley. What are you sending me this? What are you sending me here? Looks at it. It's a video. What are you sending me here, Shelley? What is this? Looks at it. Video of Shelley and Steve having it away in the shower. He's like, what's this? What have you done? And stuff like that. And he's having a go at her. And he's like, who is this sending this? She's like, it's not me. It's whoever's watching us. It's whoever's watching us. And he's like, all right, you know what? Whoever's watching us, come out now. He's marching around the lodge. He's like, come out. Anyway, he does come out. Bloody Charlie kills him. Kills him. And Charlie's
how does he kill him?
He's wearing he's got a knife. Knifes him. And he's got a mask on. It's like an old man mask. It's real weird. And he's in a full black suit. Anyway, goes upstairs and that. It's like a slasher flick, this really. Anyway, goes upstairs and that. Tries to find.
Was crap. I won't tell you about it.
Tries to find Shelley. Shelley's does a clever thing. She gets a shoe off, throws out the window.
Can't believe she's the last to survive. I think it should have been a girl.
Anyway, Charlie goes up. He's looking for her. Sees the shoe outside the window. He's like, hang on. She's jumped out the window, so he goes back downstairs. Anyway, Shelley goes out, tries to get away from the lodge, but she hurts herself somehow, and she bumps into Charlie, and Charlie's chasing her. So she's like running away in the forest and that. There's a bit of a mist. She's like limping, as the classic horror film. Yeah. She's like limping, running away. He's chasing her. All of a sudden, she falls over. But she doesn't just fall over on the ground. She falls off a cliff.
Oh my God! So she's dead. So she's dead.
She's dead. And Charlie just stands there, looks down. What?
In a way, and this might sound a bit tight. In a way, I'm quite glad. And I'll tell you why. Because I think if anybody wanted to... There's always, in a slasher flick, there's always one woman that survives. And clearly, out of this group, Gail was the most better.
Well, I mean,
I would have had a problem if
I could see what I was doing.
The adulterous one.
Anyway...
If she'd have, survived, I'd have thought it was tight on Gail.
Anyway, so Charlie goes back to the lodge, starts cleaning it all up and that.
Yeah.
Dog comes in.
Oh, yeah.
He starts stroking the dog, texts the dog.
Does he already know the dog?
It's bloody, what do you call it, Gavin?
Yeah, no, does he know it though?
No, don't know.
Oh, so he's just made friends.
Oh yeah, did I say that the dog went missing?
Yeah, you did. Oh no, I don't know.
No, I didn't.
You just never mentioned it again.
Yeah, the dog went missing.
Oh right, okay.
Halfway
so what do you think he's been looking after it?
Probably, yeah. Took it, looked after it.
Anyway, well, I'm glad the dog survived.
Yeah, he did. And anyway, it turns out.
So, do you think there's going to be a sequel?
Well, the ending of it.
I hope not.
This is the ending of it. He cleans up the lodge, takes all the cameras back, puts it all back to normal, right, and then gets rid of this lodge, rents another one, puts all the cameras back in all the places and that, and then another family comes in, right, and you're watching all this through the cameras he's putting, right, and the credits are rolling. You can see this all through.
What do you mean he rents another one? And it's called The Rental.
Yeah. So he rents another lodge, basically.
So what you're saying is that if I came up with a devious plan whereby I wanted to kill some couples, I would go and find a lodge rental company,
Elbis, I'll get to this.
Rent it, and then place an advert in a newspaper or create a website that rents out the lodge I'd rented.
I'll get to it.
And then kill the couple that come while I was renting it.
I'll get to it. Listen, this is where I think it'll fall apart. Listen, he rents another one, and another family comes in, and you see the family doing the day-to-day stuff. This woman goes to bed. All of a sudden, out the shadows, Charlie comes, kills her, and then it goes black. Now you know that he's going to kill this family in this lodge, but you don't obviously see it.
Do you understand the concept of renting?
So
it means to pay money.
Well, this is what I mean.
Borrow for a short period.
This is what I mean, and
something off someone else.
I thought, well,
so what about the owner of the lodge? What if they come down to just check? And I was like,
well, this is what I thought.
Subletting. I'm sure that's against the terms of the lease.
I thought,
and if you put a deposit down, then it's goodbye deposit. Sorry, but it is.
No, but I thought, well, hang on a minute. I thought, well, hang on a minute. What if all the police would have to do there is go? You seen this? There's been quite a few murders in lodges recently. That's how they get him, wasn't it? And he puts his name down. The woman even sees him because, the woman hands him the keys.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So she sees his face. He hasn't got a mask on then. He hasn't got a mask on then. So she knows who it is. So it's pretty easy to figure out who it is. I didn't get it at all.
If this film gets more than 10, and the only reason,
but in a way, I thought it was all right. I could see what they was doing with the way Shelley died. I could understand it. I could understand they was doing something different, but it just wasn't needed. I'd have much rather Charlie killed Shelley than Shelley just falling off a cliff because it seemed quite flat and anticlimactic. And I just thought, well, I could see why you try and do something different because that's always the ending in a slasher flick. But it was just felt so forced and it didn't really mean anything in the terms of the story. So at least have a twist or something at the end, but it didn't.
I mean, I was in a bad mood when I started this and now I'm in a bad mood now because that sounds terrible, that film. I didn't even watch it. I mean, you've got
as a slasher flick.
You've got a duty to our listeners to warn them about films like
as a slasher flick. It's not too bad. It's not the worst I've seen. As a slasher flick, but for me, a slasher horror film is quite outdated, and that's why you don't really get them much anymore. And you could see that there was trying. You get your iconic horror villains your Freddy Kruegers, your Jigsaws, your what's he called out of Halloween? What's he called again?
Jason.
That's him, Jason, and what's the other one?
Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, and what's the other one? Like, with
I don't
know, but you get the picture. Anyway, they were trying to make like another iconic horror villain sort of thing.
Yeah, it's not quite.
And it just didn't really work.
Had enough of them.
Yeah, and because you don't really get any new horror villains. But yeah, it just didn't really work.
In a way, I regret my Dream or Vision now, because that was a beautiful film in the making.
Well,
and I've given it away now. And it was better than that, what you just thinking.
Well,
so let's use the system and see how
the Reno, I'd say the start, it went straight into it. There was no messing about like some of these films do. Wasn't that bad, I'd say.
Well, that's when they had it away, wasn't it?
Not really, no. I'd say 20.
Sounds a bit high, but go on.
For the middle.
Is that when they had it away?
Yeah.
Well,
no, they had it away in the start, I think. Yeah, they had it away. Yeah, I'll up it a bit. So 22.
Yeah, okay.
They had it away in that. Yeah. And it was decent. So 22. In the middle, I'd say 18.
Okay, so 40.
Ending, I wasn't really a fan of. I think it was just unnecessary. I'd give it 14. What's
54.
That? 54.
Yeah. That's the system.
The system says 54. That's ridiculous. No way.
75?
No way.
No. That was crap. No. That was crap.
There's no way.
You told it well. I bet you told it better than the film actually was.
Probably.
I mean, let's have a look at Shelley.
Let's
have a look at Shelley, because she sounds as if she's doing
well, that's
Well,
she's no. I mean, no.
I'm sure she's a nice woman and that. And what about Gail?
Yeah, she's all right.
She must be terrible.
The girl's all right. Yeah, the girl's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Girl's all right.
Yeah, I wish she'd have survived, actually, Gail. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, that Gavin was an idiot. No, it wasn't Gavin, it was Steve, wasn't it?
Gail's all right.
Gavin should have had it away with her.
Gail's all right.
They'd have been best off.
I didn't mind Gail, but I mean, she was a bit of a square, but I mean...
Yeah,
she's an all right woman. She's very attractive in the sense of how she looks.
Yes.
And
anyway,
but then I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit. I don't know. It was a bit. It was a bit flat, the ending. So.
Anyway, well,
yeah, but that's
it's finished kind of downer, because I mean, Podomatic messed up. I'm a bit worried about it messing up again, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I am.
If I'm honest, it isn't the grand finale we had planned.
Yeah.
Because of Podomatic. And I won't mind, but we're paying a VIP price now on £9 a month. You expect more.
You do.
But I do think, have you got the end music lined up or not?
I do. Yes, I do.
You know, I mean, I will say, if anybody's listened up to this point, like as of this is a new podcast here, then cheers for that. But we know that millions will be listening in the future, don't we?
Well, yeah.
And then you'll all be lying on forums and that, saying, "Oh God, yeah, I was listening to Elbis and Elbis when the first, brought the series out." Well,
I mean, that was the end of the season, everyone. I mean, I think thanks for listening and that. If you have, I mean, there might be a season 2. Probably will be, actually, because we've got this subscription we need to sort out. Well, we're paying it a month.
Well, £9 a month. We'll have to
but no, I've enjoyed doing this season in a way. It's been a good 2 months, and thanks for all the support and that.
Sharkface was brilliant.
Sharkface was absolutely outstanding, so there's something for you.
I think if anybody slags that off, then says you could do it.
You're a pillar.
Think about it. Think about if you could write that.
You're a pillar. And for our American viewers, a fool.
Yes. If you could write a story better than Sharkface and perform it live in one take, then all I can say is...
I bet you can't.
Yeah.
I bet you can't.
That's it.
Good luck.
But anyway, we've sort of enjoyed most of it. It's just tonight.
That end bit was a bit annoying. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for listening. Keep posted for the merch, and there will be some more Elbis and Elbis content coming your way. So keep posted for that. But with that, season 1, the first album, as we like to call
Champagne
it.
Supernova was tonight,
and
went a bit rocky in the middle, like with the. Well, not our fault. It's like bad equipment.
Yeah,
not even our equipment.
It's like it is.
We might change platform for next season.
If the speakers aren't working at a concert, is that necessarily the band's fault?
No, it's not. It's the roadie's fault. And the roadie,
Blame
in
the
this
roadie.
case, is called Podomatic.
Blame the roadie.
Anyway.
Blame the roadie. Anyway, we've been Elbis and Elbis. You've been World Class. Well, it's alright.